Then try to move forward with new directions. Glee. We're coming to the end of Pride Month, and I really, really think that it's important for parents to know how much of an effect that they can have when faith or when outdated values have kind of clouded the ability for authentic expression to be displayed. While it might not be about me being gay, more along the lines of outward expression as somebody who identifies as queer in the big 2026. Welcome back to Talking to Tris. I am so excited to talk to you guys again today. Loving how this podcast has been working out. Love it. It's just so nice to brain dump on a bunch of people who get it, you know? Hey, you guys. So, fun fact, I'm literally filming this same day that I'm posting it. I was editing everything and I did not factor in that a lot of footage probably was not gonna be productive to the conversation. But also I only ended up with 17 minutes of footage. And I'm sorry, I like a podcast that is at least 40 minutes plus. You know what I mean? I want at least, especially if it's an hour. Ugh. I love background noise. And so I was like, let me actually film some stuff because I've got some exciting stuff to talk about with y'all. So I've really been interested recently in my own astrology. I've always known the surface level of things, but I've been so intrigued on what that means. So the app is still called Time Passages, I'm pretty sure, but the website is called Astrograph. But it says under it says Makers of Time Passages. So, and it has all the same info. Also, I hope it doesn't sound like I'm mansplaining this. I'm just for anybody who doesn't understand astrology like me, just to kind of give you an idea. I'm a Scorpio sun, a Gemini rising, and a Capricorn moon. Also, I love how they kind of so they break it down really easily. So to explain the houses, for example, because I was always what do you mean the house? What does the house do? And why are they in a house? The houses divide the birth chart into 12 sections, each representing a different area of life. They reflect the structure of a person's lived experience, covering everything from identity and relationships to career, health, and spiritual growth. So to explain the 12 signs of the zodiac, they represent distinct modes of expression. While the planets symbolize the core energies at play in a chart, the signs describe the manner in which those energies move, how a person acts, responds, relates, and processes experiences. So the sun in Scorpio is in the 5th house. You're very conscious of yourself and your personal identity, and you love to display who you are to other people. Very creative, you attract others, you entertain them. It even says you are in fact a natural actor or entertainer. You view life as a theater, which I love that because yeah, literally, yeah. I love how we're 2 for 2 on Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, if that tells y'all how much I love that movie. No, it's how Lola would, she would be she would just have these she would be in a moment and then it would immediately turn into a super dramatic I wanna be loved by you, that kind of vibe. Me, that's so me. And it's oh, okay, yeah, because out of nowhere I started getting a huge influx of videos talking about how Gemini risings are about to kind of have a really nice breath of fresh air, amongst all of the craziness. And I was like, I'm a Gemini rising. Kind of immediately got me into looking at all of this. And it actually says that there is a Mercury retrograde literally happening tomorrow, the 30th. Connections break down. This Mercury retrograde period is best used as a time for inner reflection. It's not a good time for making new decisions or new business plans, but it is ideal for reflecting on your current situation. It's best to quietly observe your inner process during Mercury retrograde and to carry forward with your pre-existing plans. Ask yourself, where am I headed in my life at this particular juncture? Then try to move forward with new directions. Glee. Try to move forward with new directions only after Mercury has gone direct. When does it go direct? Has gone direct. And perhaps even a fortnight beyond. Fortnight? Okay, let's relax. When Mercury has left its retrograde shadow. Okay, but when is that? Oh, that's why it was a big deal too, because it was a Capricorn full moon. And that's tonight, because today's Monday, and I'm a Capricorn moon. But what does that mean? And on this, because I'm one of those people who like reads it and you're like, oh my God, that's me. Like I literally relate. But it's like, let's dive deep, because I was going in on like the houses last night and there was so many things that I didn't know. I guess a part of myself that I forgot was there. I think it's beautiful. I absolutely understand why people do it for people in their lives. But I'm like, how do y'all get all that information though? Because don't you need like the time of their birth? I'm a weirdo though. I'd probably figure it out. It says Mercury represents the mind and intellect and rules Gemini, the sign of duality. And also Virgo. It has its exaltation in Aquarius. Mercury is an airy planet, often associated with all forms of communication, inflow and outflow of intelligence and communication. Its position indicates how your mental function will be expressed and where its techniques and skills are available to you. Still not telling me when it ends, though. The key word is thoughts. Thought daughter. THOUGHT. But I did want to like hone in for a second on the Capricorn moon because so it says the moon in Capricorn gives a serious and practical personality inclined to be ambitious and acquisitive. There can be something of a power complex in you. You may have difficulty in just being happy, and so you may try too hard to achieve your own ambition at the expense of others. You have terrific self-control and determination. There was probably a strong parental influence at work in your early years. You may have subconscious fears to work through in order to be able to come to a true understanding of other people. And so it says that my Capricorn is in the 8th house. And it says represents an intuitive, emotional, sensitive, often psychic connection with deep rooted emotional experiences. You're naturally intuitive. You may be interested in knowing about subjects concerning mortality, life after death, and other issues concerning death, which that's actually crazy because whenever I was little, I was so hyper focused on death all the time. I was so scared that somebody I love was going to die. I also like discovered mortality. In my opinion, I feel like it was like in the middle of the day randomly one day. And I was like, oh my God, when you die, like that's it. And then like you go to heaven or you go to hell, but then you're there forever. And that's what I was thinking as a kid. Now it's kind of turned into like, I don't know what I believe, honestly. I definitely think that there is absolutely something after we're here, but the extent of that, I just can't even figure out. You know what I mean? If I do wake up though and I take a pair of goggles off and they said, okay, you finished that level, don't piss me off. Put them back on. But the part that gagged was you may benefit from learning how to be more emotionally detached so that you can use your internal awareness in the world beyond personal interrelations, which I love that. I know that sounds it sounds kind of surface level, but like I just really think everybody should go check out their birth chart and see like what details you might uncover from that, like I love it. And I love how it's so specific for every single person. I think after going over like the footage and everything, a lot of stuff was kind of said out of anger. Whenever you're expected to kind of like bend to the will of somebody saying, well, these are my own beliefs, and if you can't, you know, why can't you get why can't you respect that? And it's like, but your beliefs are hurting people. Your beliefs are inherently divisive. And you decided to bring this person onto the planet. And so the anger and the guilt and the shame and the sadness and all of these different heavy emotions that you are forced to carry against your will can really, really push somebody to get so angry. Whatever you are going through right now, the pendulum is going to swing the other way, babe. So it might feel rough. It might feel like everything is like crashing down on you right now. And that is so okay. You are so valid in that. But please know that it has to get better. It has to. It always does. I love you so much. Let's get into it. I personally feel if you are not gay or do not identify as LGBTQ plus, we're just going to sit this one out and we're going to listen. Okay. One of the biggest things I hate is lying by omission, because I hate when I'm told something and I'm like, if I hadn't have said that, you wouldn't have told me that. You know what I mean? I hate that because that's like, it makes me perceive the conversations from that point on. Like, I believe you halfway at least. Do you know what I mean? And I think this really goes for adults who have raised LGBTQ children, whilst being in a very strict, conservative, Christian, Catholic environment. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm editing right now, and I found a clip of Trixie and Katya that I wanted to include in the podcast. This is more drag related, as well as just a message I feel like all parents need to hear, whether you're a new parent or a parent who has a 30-year-old. But yeah, let's watch that.
I encourage you gay people to look your parents right in the face, and if they had any issue with it, you say, I thought you loved me, like, for me no matter what.
Yeah.
Because I came out of you.
Yeah. God, we're still doing this in 2020,
It's
whatever.
so corny.
It's quarantine.
Honestly, I want to say, all of you out there who want kids,
Good for
if
you,
you
honey.
need your children to turn out a certain way, maybe it's just not for you.
Yeah.
What about people who just think it is plain wrong, that, you know, God made men men and women women and there shouldn't be any gender fluidity or...
Well, God's not real, and I am, so do that with that.
Hey, me again. I did want to make sure that I threw this in before I even started talking about the Catholic faith, okay? Because I really want this to be made known that the damage is a lot heavier than the progress. It's further shaped by leadership that is entirely male, with women excluded from the priesthood and thus from key leadership roles. Without giving too much information away about my personal life, I was born and raised in the most strictly Catholic household ever. The Catholic faith teaches that homosexuality is a sin. Homosexuality is what is called a mortal sin in the Catholic Church. There are two types of sins in the Catholic Church. A mortal sin, where if you die with a mortal sin on your soul,
you're going straight to hell.
You don't get a pass, you don't get a go back to jail card or anything. Your fate is set. I want you to imagine a 10-year-old being told that. The venial sin is something that is considered smaller. Not as bad. You probably took a piece of candy from HEB in that little area where you can put them into a bag. Or you probably, told a lie. If you die with that on your conscience, it's not damning. But isn't that subjective? Like the idea of what is considered a small sin. Not to the Catholics. So, those are the two types of sins. And being gay is a mortal sin if you act on it. So imagine being that, knowing this information about how sins work and what they are, and then having to digest that and be like, okay, so like what does my future look like? Because I remember, like, for my entire childhood, like, oh my gosh, so many different crushes on so many different, like, guys, you know what I mean? And I would think to myself, like, okay, is this going to turn into I'm an adult and I am not married, I'm not in a relationship, and I'm fully shrinking myself to make sure my parents are 100% comfortable, and how much that affects you as a person. Because I was just fully ready to live that life. I was ready. I was so ready to just throw in the towel and be like, that's fine. That's fine. I will do that. I will do that because if that will make y'all happy, then I'll do that. Just making sure that everybody was put in front of me before my own self. And the coming out of it all is like such a like heavy story to reminisce on because it wasn't a situation that felt safe to do. You know what I mean? Because not that they had exactly given me any reason to feel that way, because there's nothing that had ever been said, but this is what I've been taught. This is your morality scale. This is how you view the world. And I am something that I have been taught is going to send me to hell. When this faith turns into something you're now hiding behind to justify your inability to connect with me on a deep level because I'm this way or I'm that way. You know what I mean? On the gender side of things, on the expression side of things, you know? And so learning about myself over all of these years has just taught me so many cool things, of course. And like picking up drag, for example, is something that has really, really helped me get in touch with that feminine side that I really have never been able to explore. While the Catholic Church does not consider homosexual orientation sinful in and of itself, it does have a very negative attitude towards it. And get this, and hear this, I want you to hear this. It is a more or less strong tendency ordered toward an intrinsic moral evil, and thus the inclination itself must be seen as an objective disorder. A Vatican document approved by then Pope Benedict XVI instructed that the Church cannot admit to the seminary or to holy orders those who practice homosexuality, present deep-seated homosexual tendencies, or support the so-called, quote, gay culture. Such persons, in fact, find themselves in a situation that gravely hinders them from relating correctly to men and women. And I feel so bad. Oh my God. I feel really bad for the younger version of me who didn't know better and didn't know anything, like was just so confused and scared and just wanted to make sure that he was doing everything right for everyone else and just like shrinking, like just completely shrinking. Oh, girl, look. But it's just like that false idea that like things are gonna change. Things are gonna change. Maybe they're not gonna change. Whew, we're back. We're good. We're good. Whatever somebody's spiritual practice is, I think that should be something that is personal, because it gets to a point where you're doing this to validate that part of you that is like, I'm going to heaven. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm going to heaven because I did this, this, and this. And back to the coming out of it all. It took so much of my parents to just be somewhat like on and off the acceptance spectrum. And the more I think about it and the more I'm like hearing myself say this out loud, I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Not only did I not get to process the anger of how much that affected me growing up, you also get so angry when you realize how much was taken from you because of that. And because of the fear. Fear-based religion, dude. Like every decision I was making, I was thinking in the background, yeah, but am I gonna go to hell if I do this? Am I gonna go to hell if I do this? I remember like there would be times where I was hitting my head, crying, saying, I hate the devil, I hate the devil, I hate the devil, and just like freaking out because I made a mistake. And I'm like, no child who is young and who does not understand the outside world from what they have seen through their own two eyes should be thinking about if they're going to hell or not. Are you serious? And it sucks when it follows you through the entirety of your teenage years and into the end of your teenage years and just constantly thinking to yourself, am I going to go to hell? And I hate that. That's so cruel. I hate that. And I resent that from the Catholic Church. Because by doing that, you also enable narcissistic behavior in adults that they just hide behind their own fucking faith. Because nobody can stand on anything anymore, I guess. So I'm getting into my adult years and I start really harboring the resentment for that because I'd never felt it before. I didn't know I was allowed. And so you start feeling that. And it turns into fights and it turns into saying things that are so out of character from you. The complete lack of listening has just turned you into a reactive monster. The contrarian way of speaking that is always thrown at me. I don't know if anybody saw Keke Palmer's recent interview with Jennifer Lewis, but she was talking about how like she ended her marriage with her original husband because she was saying how much she loved the sky and the sky, because she was saying how much she loved this tree that she was looking at and how beautiful it is. And he was like, you think every tree is beautiful. And she ended it. And she was like, the media made it out to be, oh, she ended her marriage over a tree. And she's like, bitch, no, you knew that shit built up. It wasn't from this one thing. But then it's like, everybody probably is now thinking that it's because of that one thing because you didn't get a say in that being told. You just have to just be okay with it. You know what I mean? Because of a person's inability to be uncomfortable for 5 seconds and apologize and try to move forward, doing better than they were yesterday, you are now having to face so much unnecessary pain and guilt and sadness that you don't deserve, let alone ask for. I just said you're gonna love your son or your son's not gonna be in your life. It's easy. It's like so easy. You know what I mean? Becoming so openly queer and openly myself, playing with my makeup, learning different ways to do my hair, discovering different clothes that I might want to try and wear and stuff like that. When it's met with anything but love and support and baseline respect, and it all goes back to the Catholic faith and how fear-based it is. Who is God? What is God? It's like if I'm met with judgment by people who I should automatically be able to go to about my most authentic self, who fucking brought me onto this planet, then how do you expect a relationship to be fostered from that? In other terms, it's saying, I need you to shrink and be this way for me to be able to digest you. And if you can't do that, I'm going to show it in my face, or I'm going to show it in my words. I know there are other people who are going through this right now who literally have nobody to talk to about it or nobody who has any kind of relatability to them with it. And I promise you, I do. Remember that the lesson in all of this, like literally in all of this, is that it does not matter what they think. It doesn't matter. I'm not so blanket statement with external validation because sometimes you do need to hear other people's thoughts on things. You do need to, see other perspectives or hear different things. It might just be me, but if somebody's excited to talk about something, I'm excited to listen. I don't give a fuck what it's about. If you're excited, I'm excited. That's just who I am. I love listening to people talk about stuff they love. It's beautiful. I think that's one of the beautiful things of being a human is how vastly different everybody's perspective is and everybody's like way of living is and this, that, and the other. But like when that same respect can't even be given to your son, what do you do? So it says right here in September 2015, the Vatican's Congregation for the Doctrine of Faith, responsible for enforcing Catholic doctrine, did not permit a transgender man in Spain to serve as a godfather, effectively barring transgender Catholics from serving as baptismal sponsors. And if you don't know what a baptismal sponsor is, it's pretty much the person who is kind of entrusted on you to be a part of your faith journey as you grow up. But this statement is where it kind of gets me because literally listen to this. The result is evident that this person does not possess the requisite of leading a life conformed to the faith and to the position of godfather. Therefore, is not able to be admitted to the position of godmother nor godfather. One should not see this as discrimination, but only the recognition of an objective absence of the requisites that by their nature are necessary to assume the ecclesial responsibility of being a godparent. So, there have also been recent instances of LGBTQ plus employees in the United States being dismissed from Catholic schools and parishes following the celebration of a same-sex couple's marriage. And see, this is what I mean whenever I said that it just angers me and it just starts to put me into a rage because they say not to judge and they say not to do this, but they're the ones doing that. You're the ones denying people because they don't practice the same life that you practice. You know what I mean? It's just like the quote, by their nature are necessary to assume the ecclesial responsibility of being a godparent. Like, you're not the right moral compass for this baby. Who the fuck are you to say that? I'm constantly ping-ponging between that's just their views, they're not gonna understand, and well, then why the fuck did you have kids? You can't change somebody's mind who has absolutely no intention of changing it, and it damn sure is not your job to make them change. Love is supportive, love is respectful, and love will always turn a blind eye no matter what you believe in on that. Because if that belief outweighs your love for what you created, pick that. But don't make it this game where you act a certain way and start to give me the idea and the false hope that you are supportive and you are this and you are that. And then like the second it's actually challenged and I turned into the moment for you to stand on that, you can't hold that up. And it sounds so like abrupt and for one reason and one reason only, but it's like, no, it's not. Because if I can't be 100% myself around you and just completely transparent and authentic, I don't want to be around you. You know? A lot of people are becoming parent, and because of that, no cycles are broken. We repeat the exact same cycle. Your children watch you repeat the exact same cycle. And then now it's up to them to fix an issue that you created. You don't have to do anything, but you should want to. And look, I hate even saying this out loud, but it literally sounds like the mom from Hereditary, but she fucking ate whenever she said the line, because now I can't accept and I can't forgive because nobody takes accountability for anything they've done. You being your authentic self around your family is a non-negotiable. Everybody else can be authentic. Everybody can act their own certain way and do whatever they want. The second it starts heading into queer territory, now all of a sudden, I need you to not be extra. I'm gonna need you to shrink just to like so we can be comfortable around you. Extra meaning flamboyant. You know, like I'm not forgetful either. When it comes to like things that I've experienced and that I've seen, I know what I've seen. I'm not going to gaslight myself out of what I've seen and what I've learned. Conversation, it's just immediately turned into, why can't you just respect my beliefs? Like, because the difference in these two situations is my belief is not doing anything to hurt you. Your belief is divisive. Your belief is your justification. And then like everybody loves to throw Pope Francis in the mix. And he was like, how he said, who am I to judge? You know, the damage has already been done though. You know, it's not like oh my gosh, like whenever I was in Catholic school and whenever I was in church or whenever I was taken to those teenage classes, specifically in our books, stating how it was a mortal sin and stating that this was something that was eternal damnation if you participate in it. And it also says that the Vatican does state that those with homosexual tendencies should be accepted with respect, compassion, and sensitivity. But respect to me is minding your goddamn business. You know what I mean? Like, respect to me is not letting that hinder. Homosexual persons are called to chastity. However, the doctrine also specifies that such persons must be accepted with respect and sensitivity. Every sign of unjust discrimination in their regard should be avoided. So is saying to a child that if they are born this way, they're morally evil and have an objective disorder, is that not unjust discrimination? Is that not disrespectful as fuck? Like, that's also not a conversation anybody is allowed to be a part of except for the one who is being affected by it. Because there's nobody else in my family who's gay. There is nobody else in my family who is queer. Nobody could understand that but another queer person. But once again, you're going to respect me. And I think everybody should think that way, because I'm going to respect you. But yeah, I'm tired of talking about this. This has been a little bit of a dragged on subject. Let's talk about my song of the week. Right now, my song of the week is I'm Perfect by Chase Icon. So good. Love Chase Icon. And Interface Loading by Elysia. She makes that Frutiger Arrow music, like the ones that look like, you know, the early 2000s and like the fish, the blue, the neon, like all that stuff. And it's so good. Oh my gosh. It gives me the exact same feeling that Wii music used to give me whenever I'd be on like the Wii page or like in the little me section, you know. I just want to say thank you again for being here today. If you stayed, love everybody around you. Please, please just love everybody around you. Meet everybody around you exactly where they are in their lives without judgment. And just be the person that you want out of other people. And y'all better not forget, you guys, if you point the finger, sniff it first. Bye, y'all.